Sheriff Rob Maciol in studio here. Do you host the parties?
In our old house we did because it was much larger.
Yeah.
Our new old house that we're in now is much smaller, so it really wouldn't, unless we want to have the party out in the barn. Maybe.
Sure, you got that big old barn out there.
Right out there with the cows.
That is big today. I mean, you see, there's a place in Schuyler that is an old barn, and they do weddings and stuff. It's incredible. But of course, they don't have cows in their barn.
That's right.
You do.
Yes, we do. Lots of them.
Everybody, everywhere I go, they're talking about Sheriff Maciol and how you have really become a full-blown, you're a farmer now.
Pretty much. Actually, this morning was quite a challenge. I didn't expect like a foot of snow when I went out this morning, so I got stuck plowing the driveway. But, a year ago I started with 2 cows. We're up to 20 right now.
Yeah, he says he started off as a hobby farmer, but I think he's a little bit past that.
We're a little past that. But you know what? It's really it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it keeps me in shape, and it's really neat to see nature at work. It is. It's really cool.
And I know you're by the book. You're a sheriff, so you have to be kind of by the book with things.
Yes.
So I got into this big disagreement with my wife yesterday because we have a gallon of skim milk, and we just bought it. I don't know where she got it, but the expiration date was yesterday. We'd only had it for a few days.
Really?
So she's like, I got to dump this. Absolutely not. You do not have to dump it.
You don't have to dump it.
Those dates are meant for, if you get there and it's been a month, then you've got yourself a problem.
With milk, you can tell if you open it.
You can tell.
Take
That's
a whiff.
exactly
You'll know.
Yes.
My wife just did that same thing the other day. She dumped a half a gallon because it was like, that's December 5th. And I'm like, I use it every morning when I make my coffee. And
you must always take a whiff of it.
Absolutely.
A little whiff of it.
I always
you
do.
want
You'll
to smell it. You
It'll
will know.
wake you up if it's
I'm
not
so
good.
scared of foodborne illness that I'll smell everything, but the problem is I can't tell the difference, really.
I don't think you're really going to
I'll smell good milk and think, there might be an odor there.
Are you going to get sick on a little sour milk? I don't think you're even going to get sick on it, to be honest with you.
Turkeys do fly, by the way. I raised turkeys this year. They do fly. They do fly.
Yes,
not
they
far,
do.
but they do fly.
Yes.
You know what I found on the
and
milk?
they'll fly into a windshield.
They'll fly in your face, too, if you're coming at them, if you're not ready.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
If there's just a little bit of milk in there, it's more likely to smell funky if it's on the date.
Probably right.
But if you got like a whole half gallon, and it's on its date, I found
Shake it up.
Shake it up.
Drink it. Once you add the Oreos, you don't even know.
Just keep it a couple more weeks, you'll have cheese. It's fine.
Just put it in the coffee cup before you put the coffee in it, and then it mixes right.
It mixes right in there, and sometimes it adds flavor.
That's right.
Who put sour cream in my coffee? I like it.
A few floaters on top.
All right. We're talking, each year we seem to talk about, you're always on the recruit for.
We are desperately in a recruitment mode right now. We've got our upcoming corrections officer exam. It's February 11th. The reason I'm out here now is because folks only have until December 23rd, the day of your big show.
Yeah.
That's the last day that you can sign up for the corrections officer exam. We want to try to reach out to anyone out there who may want to start a career in law enforcement. It's a rock-solid job. Benefits are great. Starting pay is just under $31,000. After 6 months, it goes to $37,000 almost.
Wow.
Like I said, New York State retirement benefits. You will never, ever, ever be laid off from this job. It's one of those things where they're 24/7. Unless you're leaving for other employment or unless you do something where we don't, we don't employ you anymore.
You can get fired.
Yeah, that is true. But in this business, we don't lay people off in corrections.
Right. Yep.
It's about as secure as it gets. And we just want to really encourage people if it's something they want to try, go to ocgov.net, the county's website. Under personnel, you can pull off an application. It's $25. Minimum requirements to take the exam. You have to be 18 years old at the time of appointment. So technically, a 17-year-old
so you be 17
could
now.
take the test. And you have to be a county resident to apply for the test. So you have to be a county resident.
What about high school education? Is that
high
required?
school education or diploma is the minimum requirements for a correction officer.
Got it.
And like I said, it's a great opportunity. We know people, or I have lots of people working for me. They do their 25 years and they're young enough to start another career.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity. We want to encourage anyone who may want to enter the field. Corrections is one of the key components to the criminal justice system. There's a lot of responsibility that goes along with it. That's why, I was listening to your interview much earlier this morning about young people entering the workforce and
Yeah,
responsibilities. This job is not for everybody. So part of the interview process, we take you on a tour. We put you right in a unit where there are inmates because, believe it or not, we've had people who've taken the job and then they get there and they're like, well, you didn't tell me I was going to be that close to inmates.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with this. We don't employ a lot of 18-year-olds just because of the maturity issue, but we have had some very successful ones. But there is no cap on the other end. So, folks that are out there that are, in their 40s or 50s that might want to try this as a career, that's definitely a possibility also. So,
all right. And, of course, it's good pay and good benefits.
Absolutely.
That's
and
one
like
of
I
the
said,
keys.
it's a rock-solid job.
Yeah.
And we also have several openings for part-time correction officers. Not a test required, but it's the same application you would fill out.
Okay.
That we recruit year-round, so there's no time limit on that. But, again, feel free to either go to the ocgov.net website or call our office, our Community Affairs office, 765-2779. And like I said, we can even give you a tour ahead of time if it's something you want to think about.
All right, it's cool. And the fact that you can take that the application right off the website is
Exactly.
convenient. You can walk in with it all filled
And
out.
one more thing, today we are currently underway as we speak with our first ever coffee with a correction officer. Like we did coffee with a cop before.
Yeah.
Today we're out at 8 locations. All throughout Oneida County. So if you're around Dunkin' Donuts, Barneville, Clinton, Whitesboro, New Hartford, Marcy down the road here, Seneca Turnpike, Commercial Drive, we're at all those locations with correction officers. They'll have applications with them also. Say hello, ask them about their job, and have some good conversation with them.
Can I ask you, before you go, one quick question on the alert that came out yesterday, which everybody's talking about? I was in a big box store as mine went off, and then you could hear throughout the entire store the echoing of everybody's going off.
Yes.
It was, I believe, attributed to the Oriskany Falls fire, but there was no stipulation, there was no mention of that there.
It was intended for the folks in the Oriskany Falls area, and also there was a glitch in the system somewhere. I know that there were Office of Emergency Services trying to figure out what happened, but I think instead of going to 800 people, it went to about 80,000 people.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it also didn't have the text in. I mean, when
Right,
they
it didn't tell you
when
what
they
it
hit
was.
the send button on our end here, the right stuff was there. Basically, the smoke was so intense. They were encouraging people, if you were having problems breathing or if the smoke was bothering you, to evacuate your home. They had shelters set up at the Oriskany Falls Firehouse. I was actually at a brunch at the Onondagas, and someone was giving a speech, and everybody's phones went off, and everybody was like focusing on their phones, but this person was still talking.
Yes, yeah.
But I didn't know what it was because I got the same text that everybody else did. There was like nothing there.
And it didn't
And
explain
you,
what
of
it
course,
was.
were
Later,
probably like, oh my gosh.
So normally it would say,
tell you,
it would tell you what it is.
Residents of Oriskany Falls. If you, the body of the corrected text was there later. If you're having difficulty breathing with the smoke, please evacuate to the Oriskany Falls Firehouse.
Instead, it just told you to check your radio, which is we appreciate that.
Can we get call letters in there next time? Just tune
That's
to
right.
WIBX.
Yeah,
You
please.
could try that. Sure.
Maybe specifically the program would be nice to know.
Does that originates from Oneida County 911 or Sheriff's Office? Where does
The
that
911 center.
911
That's where it
center.
originates, but they send their information to the state, and then it gets pushed out. So somewhere in between there. I
okay,
mean,
okay.
obviously
It glitched.
it was a glitch or an accident.
Right.
And I know it got a lot of people into panic mode. I had multiple texts and Facebook messages, and we tried to get the information out as quick as we could. The system, obviously, it works. It's just that it didn't work right. But
And then one last thing is the impatience of people, and I don't know that you guys were involved, but I think you were in the gas spill.
Oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
impatience of people. I understand you're trying to get to work or wherever you're going. You're on your way home, or you have to do something. But I'm told stories where officers were getting people putting their fists at them, yelling at them as they were driving
hand
by.
gestures.
Yeah.
Obscenities.
What is up with that?
Believe me, the last thing that the police officers wanted to do was stand out in the road for 8 or 10 or 12 hours in direct traffic. But it was that not only was an environmental hazard, but it was a potential time bomb waiting to go off. And it is very frustrating when you see people act like that because, like I said, we're doing this for their safety.
Right. It's not like you're out there saying, "Hey, I want to inconvenience you today."
Because believe me, like I said, the personnel that were there would much rather be either back in their fire stations or back in their police cars than to be out there.
Yeah, Chief Brooks referenced it the other day when we spoke with him last week, and I didn't pick up on it until I began hearing these stories from people.
There were actually people that walked away from their cars. They were so upset that they couldn't move. They parked their cars and they walked away. And I'm like, seriously? I mean,
wow.
They were caught in traffic. They you know, and obviously situations like that, you need multiple agencies working together. And it was kind of, it was neat to see all that happen.
Yeah.
For example, our command post, the Sheriff's Office mobile command post, we spent like 22 hours at the Rome chlorine spill a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were at this rollover for a day and a half. And then most recently, we spent 2 days down in Oriskany Falls at the fire, with our command post.
It's been busy.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
I mean, the public, the first responding agencies can utilize our equipment whenever they need to. We send it with an operator, and the command level staff can run these major incidents from our command post. We have dispatchers in their computers, satellites, radios, everything you need to run a major scene. So, again, it's just there's so many things we're dealing with now that 28 years ago when I first came on this job, I say it before, I had a revolver, a baton, and a giant portable radio, and that was it. Now we're between Narcan and computers and AEDs, and we're responding to hazmat situations. I mean, policing has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Complete
so when
360
when
from where we were a couple decades ago.
Nationally, what's expected of a police officer?
It's incredible. We're there to respond to everything.
Yeah. All right, Sheriff, good stuff. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you very much.
And maybe you bring us chocolate milk on the 23rd.
We'll do that. We can do that.
Do you do? Is it dairy?
Mine are all beef cows.
Oh, they're all beef cows.
Mine are all beef cows.
All
And, so maybe I could bring you some hamburger.
That would be nice.
Probably going to get in trouble by someone out there. Just got offended by me saying that, I'm sure.
Oh, well.
That's the business where,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
We do eat meat.
Yep.
Okay, Sheriff, good stuff. Thank you very much.